I actually have published research on this topic, wrote a book about it. This book was called Mirror Effect. And let me break this down in two ways to start with. One is what I have noticed treating people who have a public life. There's a gigantic difference between somebody who has had a day job and whose day job has been being famous. Those are two different populations. And people,
that's an important distinction.
Oh my God. And people who are performers or actors who have been famous, who've never had a day job, horrible. I would not want to go through a life like that. They take everything. This is their existence. This is serious business. If you've had a day job, you're like grateful for it. It's fun. Glad I have it, but this is not real. This is not a real thing. It's an instrument. It's a way of doing things. It's a way of reaching people.
All right, people, as this airs, you know that I am off the grid. I am disconnected. I have no electronics, no communication with the outside world, but we did not want to leave you, the viewer, without content. Thus, as I tape this right now, it is the end of July, and I am with my good friend and, dare I say, internet sensation in this second half of your career, my friend Drew Pinsky. How are you?
I'm great, David Rubin. Good to see you. You are missed. I miss you, though. As we record this, obviously you're not gone, but I already miss you.
Yes.
It's weird.
You're having it's sort of like pre-crime. You're having pre-miss. That's pretty good.
This is pre-grief, as is to persuasion is to persuasion. So.
All right. Well, unless something goes horrifically awry, I will return. But if I don't, you can have the Rubin Report and all of its assets and everything. How does that sound?
It's on the record. Here we go. Something might happen to you now. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. My lawyer is not in the room.
I was going to say, if something does happen to you, they're coming to me first now.
First off, I'm going very casual today because I'm preparing to go off the grid, and you are dressed professionally like you are a doctor going to a meeting with other doctors to present some sort of new study.
No. It's close to that. I'm literally running from our interview to another interview on homelessness where I need to present a more professional self. I would have dressed exactly like you, and I feel a little weird being dressed the way I am, but here we are.
All right. Well, you are a doctor. You are a professional. Before we dive into so we're just going to talk about some of this stuff. You and I have been in the same game now for years. Everyone knows our history. You, I think, were the first television show that I ever even did when you were on HLN many years ago.
So weird.
But I thought first might be interesting because you deal with so many people with different addictions and conditions and neuroses, all of these things. This is my 9th year going off the grid. And partly when I did it for the first time years ago, it was just because I was just getting that internet headache, that thing that we're all obsessed with, the endless scrolling. You feel like your attention span is fraying. And I was just like, let me just try it.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I loved it. I think it's one of the things that has allowed me to stay sane in this political world where so many people seemingly have gone off the deep end. What do you make of our relationship with the devices, and what do you think of digital detox, generally speaking, and all that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot packed into what you said. I would not exclusively blame screens for how you were feeling, right? Yeah. I mean, when people have a busy schedule, they need to take breaks. You just do. You cannot do so. I was a profound workaholic early in my career, and I could only manage sort of 3-day breaks, and I would take 2 days to wind down and then to spend the next day having dread. So it was like not a vacation, but then I had to return. But we do need to do that. But we have this added problem of screens. And so I'm guessing you're saying that not only do you take a break from work, you also take a break from anything online, which is very healthy.
This is literally going in the safe. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to watch the news, nothing for a month.
Everybody reports improvement in sense of well-being. It's just a universal thing. And of course, I think we all are becoming more and more familiar with the adverse impact on kids and adolescents. I mean, it's just inescapable. My friends who are psychologists, that particularly those who work with adolescents, they do not allow their kids access to screens. Maybe an hour or two a day, supervised, structured, academic pursuits, that sort of thing. Maybe some socialization here and there, but highly limited exposure. Now, the real problem is, in school, someone's going to go, hey, look at this, So the schools also have to take a no screen policy, and some do, or you got to homeschool. So God knows a lot of people are heading that way these days. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It is something that is important, is a good idea, and it's healthy, and you're modeling healthy behavior. So good for you, more so than me.
Most people don't realize that pork is one of the top sources of parasites worldwide. The WHO and CDC both list it as a major source of tapeworms and toxoplasmosis. And research shows pork's poor detox pathways make it easy for parasites to thrive and spread. If you eat pork or sushi, travel, have pets, or just want to protect your gut and immune system, it's smart to do with the medical-grade parasite cleanse at least once a year. That's why the wellness company created the ivermectin and mebendazole Parasite Cleanse, a powerful combo that helps flush out parasites and supports your immunity and digestion. Just fill out a quick intake form and get a 4-use medical-grade cleanse delivered to your door. Head on over to twc.health/Rubin and use code Rubin to save $90 and get free shipping. Don't wait. Your gut will thank you. Do you think what was the show you did with famous people in the house?
Celebrity
You've
Rehab.
done a couple incarnations.
So we had Celebrity Rehab.
Celebrity Rehab.
Then we had
yeah.
Sober House, which was the follow-on treatments in a sober living. And then we had Sex Addiction, too. We did a sex addiction treatment. It was very interesting.
So when you've done those shows, but particularly celebrity related, like, do you think there's some element, I'm in the public eye. There's an element of ego that is being, stroked,
For
basically.
sure.
I go out, people, been out with you. People know who we are. They say nice things. They buy you a drink. They want to, they talk to you about this, that, the other thing. That in some way there's like a particularly unique case. It used to be, you'd be addicted to a substance or you'd be addicted to a particular behavior or something else, where publicness or fame, whatever the hell you want to call it, is like a differently insidious thing in some sense. And that is also partly why I disappear, so that I can be completely away from that.
Just be yourself.
And my version of it is very small relative to some people.
Well, this is a complex topic. I actually have published research on this topic. Wrote a book about it. This book was called Mirror Effect. And let me break this down in 2 ways to start with. One is what I have noticed treating people who have a public life. There's a gigantic difference between somebody who has had a day job and whose day job has been being famous. Those are 2 different populations. And people,
that's an important distinction.
Oh my God. And people who are performers or actors who have been famous, who never had a day job, horrible. I would not want to go through a life like that. They take everything. This is their existence. This is serious business. If you've had a day job, you're like grateful for it. It's fun. Glad I have it, but this is not real. This is not a real thing. It's an instrument. It's a way of doing things. It's a way of reaching people. Now, there's a feature in this, I think you'd relate to this, of sort of performing, like I bet you like public speaking, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so public speaking for me that's my sweet spot. I love public speaking. And this sort of scratches that itch too. And public speaking is a really interesting sort of coalition, it's coalescing of a performance instinct with a communication instinct, with an intellectual pursuit where you're trying to, I just think about Jordan Peterson as the ultimate sort of representation of having captured all that. And so there's all that. And also people who tend to pursue these things often have got some childhood injury, and this is supposed to solve a problem. And of course it doesn't. It doesn't solve any problems. And if you expect it to, that's a problem. The other thing is pursuit of fame as an autonomous motivator showed up in the 90s for the first time in human history. When they went out and asked internationally, kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? This is before the social media and the influencer thing too. That was all just getting rolling. As opposed to, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a dad, I want to be a mom, I want to be famous. That was never something that was in the
Why do you think that started in the 90s? I mean, we had TV before that. We had famous musicians. We had famous actors, comedians, blah, blah, blah.
I don't, because somehow it was becoming democratized and everyone felt they had, a right to it. I think there also was a massive shift. This is a big topic we're about to get into, a massive shift towards narcissism. And I actually interviewed a physicist, psychologist a couple weeks ago, who was saying we've now moved actually from, he frames it as this: we were in a schizoid position for many years when hallucinations and hearing voices and encounters with God were like not considered pathological. They were normal. And then we, as the individual became paramount and sacrosanct, we moved towards narcissism. And then all these media outlets really reinforced all that. And we've in his opinion, we've actually moved now into borderline process. And I think that's true. I think hysteria has now captured, Trump derangement syndrome is a hysteria. And you notice how people exaggerate and project. I was thinking this morning, I'm a little off topic here, but I wanted to bring this up with you, that I noticed the left does something. I just noticed it this morning. Everything that anybody chooses to do from a policy standpoint, if they disagree with that individual, you're going to kill people. People are going to die. Everybody's going to die. If you disagree with masks, you're going to kill people. If you disagree with vaccines, you're going to kill people. If you say, hey, Medi-Cal needs to be refunded in some way, people are going to die. Look,
literally, if you defund NPR, you're going to kill people because there won't be enough weather people reporting on. Yeah, because that's the only way to get weather.
That is hysteria, and it is disgusting, and we should be repelled by it. Let me just. Medi-Cal is the one that has the greatest sort of traction to it, and let me assure you, this is something that no one ever talks about. As a physician, no one, and I mean no one in the United States of America is refused health care if they need it under any circumstances. Who eats it is all that's in question here. Usually it's the doctors and the county when Medi-Cal doesn't cover it. So the counties and the physicians are going to eat this. And our LA County has begun to speak up about it. I've lived through this before. I've lived to David, I'm a time traveler, man. I have come from a bygone era, and I've traveled through time, and I've seen these freaking bad ideas come and go and come and go. And right now, all the bad ideas are on the table for some reason.
If you're craving more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics, check out our politics playlist right here. And if you don't want to miss any future videos, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.